Hey everyone, this is John Clauser coming to you from my music corner of the world, but today it's going to be my wrestling corner of the world. Because today I'm going to talk about All Elite Wrestling's All Out pay-per-view from last night, September 4th. Um, I was watching it through the night last night, and I thought, while my thoughts are fresh, I'm going to talk about it. So let's go ahead and just get right on into this. So we're coming to you from it's coming from Chicago. Uh, all annual thing for AEW, one of the big four of their quarterly pay-per-views that they pretty much do. Um, 15 matches. 15 matches. I thought, man, this is going to go on until about 2 in the morning, but thankfully they did not. Um, we kicked the show off with um one of the four pillars of AEW that they're building on. And that would be Sammy Guevara and his wife, Tay Mello. And of course, you're watching them making out because apparently they think that's all people want to see them do. And maybe that's right because I don't know. I'm not big into Sammy Guevara personally. And I'm not really crazy on his ring style personally. But anyway, so they are the AAA mixed tag team champions. And they're going up against Ruby Soho and Ortiz, formerly of LAX. Um, I'm just going to be really blunt about this. This was a garbage match. You get dumb stuff in the beginning where Guevara gets almost run over by a golf cart. I think they've done that trick a few too many times now. I think they can lay off that getting run over thing. At one point in the match, Soho took a some kind of a move, and I don't know if somebody wasn't right on this one, but basically she pretty much got dumped on her head. And toward the end of the match, she got her nose broken. So I'm not sure if it was just carelessness on Guevara's part or Tamelo's part or Ruby Soho's part or somebody, but somebody was not working too good on this one. I'm not a big fan of Ruby Soho either. I don't think her in ring style is really anything to get excited about personally. So obviously Tay and Guevara win this match. Up next we have Angelo Parker from the Jericho's Appreciation Society going up against Hook for the FTW belt. Um, I'm kind of digging Hook. I think they a little more work and they could really make this kid something special. I kind of like this whole no nonsense, get in there and uh, get it over and done with pretty quick. He hasn't really been tested big time yet. He hasn't gone up against a Brian Danielson rather, or Chris Jericho, um, or there's a number of people like Moxley or anybody like that. So I'll be curious to see what he does when he gets up somebody against who's like really, really, top echelon kind of stuff. Right now, a lot of these guys are still new guys that he's taking on. So he really hasn't, I don't think he's really beaten anybody like really, really big yet. But I like his style. I think they could certainly make him do something good with him. Um, and he's got a good pedigree with his dad, Taz. So I think that's a good thing. So Hook beats him in a fairly quick match. I think it's perfect for Hook's character. Next matchup, we have Kip Sabian, who returns to the ring after almost 2 years, and he's got this kind of goofy, underrated box gimmick going on, which I'm kind of likens me to Al Snow and Head, from ECW back in the day. And he's going up against the Bastard Pac from the Death Triangle faction. Hard hitting match. Got a little weird at the end when Sabian was talking to the box. That again was channeling the old Al Snow thing. Pac wins it. Um, Good match all around. Probably my favorite of the pre-show. Good to see local boy Mike Posey as a referee for this match. Mike Posey here living in Alabama or from Alabama. So, and I know he's a referee for some of the lesser stuff on AEW, doesn't get on the main show as much. But it's good to see him on this platform. So good for you, Mike. Appreciate that. Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston closes out the pre-show. Basically, this is an all-you-can-eat chops match. You're not going to get anything pretty from Ishii. He pretty much is a bulldog, and then you get a bulldog like Kingston, and it's just you're going to get a bowling shoe ugly, as Jim Ross likes to say, kind of match, and that's how this was. Just chopping each other to death. Eventually, Kingston does pull out the match. Probably my second favorite of the pre-show, but it very bowling shoe ugly, very sloppy, and that takes care of the pre-show. So to kick off the main pay-per-view, we have the casino ladder match. And you have what this is you start off with two people. So it's kind of like a Royal Rumble kind of thing. So after like 2 minutes, then another contestant enters in. Another 2 minutes go by, and another one. So you basically had what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You were going to have 8 because there was a Joker. This is a little bit different than what they were doing with the Battle Royal thing. This was just a ladder match to get the poker chip. So you have Wheeler Yuta, you have Ray Phoenix starting it off. Ray Phoenix also from Death Triangle. Then Rush, another luchador, would come in. Then Andrade El Idolo, we all know him from as Andrade from WWE, but he made an appearance here. Claudio Castagnoli, ROH champion, is in this. Dante Martin, finally, Penta El Cesaro Miero comes in, also from Death Triangle. And then Stokely Hathaway's group comes out and basically just destroys everybody. This match had no flow to begin with, and then this happens, and it's just, okay, what's going on? Why? Well, then here comes the Joker with this, he's all shrouded up in black. I should note that Stokely Hathaway gets up on the ladder, gets to the chip. Here comes the Joker. They give it to him, and that's the end of the match. Okay, that was pointless and stupid. They teased who the Joker was going to be, but they say nope, not yet. So there's already a lot of rumors flying around who they think it's going to be. I'll get to that in a little bit. Not a good match. I didn't care for this match. I just thought there was just no flow, just spots for spots' sake, and just basically these guys are out there killing each other, and here comes this Joker who gets it handed to him. Don't like it. More on that later. Trios finals match for the AEW Trios Championship belts. You got the Dark Order with Alex Reynolds and John Silver with Adam Page, Hangman Adam Page. And they are going up against the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Of course, we have the long storied history with Adam Page and Kenny Omega. And, that story just is the gift that keeps on giving, apparently. Dark Order just seems to be really lost because they don't really have a formidable leader. I don't really think Uno is a good enough leader here. When Brody Lee passed away, the group just everybody kind of felt sorry for the Dark Order, I think, and they just weren't getting quite the respect I think they deserved. But anyway, Alex Reynolds and John Silver, they're there to win. Adam Page, he's still trying to be friends with everybody. Well, eventually that goes away, but you could tell it still plays an effect in the match. Young Bucks and Omega win this one out. I kind of liked how it ended. I thought that was a good touch, so I'll be curious to see how that story keeps going with both the Young Bucks and Omega and Hangman Page, but then what also Hangman Page and the Dark Order, where that goes. But really, Dark Order needs a leader. They need a really solid leader. And that's missing right now. All right, TBS Women's Championship, Athena and Cargill. I don't get Cargill. I think she came out painted green. There's a good reason for it because she is. they're building her up to like this Goldberg character, and I'm like, well, at least Goldberg. I like Goldberg. At least he was fun to watch. I don't get Jade Cargill at all. I just they need to do something good with her, and right now they're not doing anything good with her. She's just taking on a lot of jobbers, and even though Athena is no jobber, uh I don't think she did much to elevate Jade in this particular case. So Jade wins. Next match. FTR and Wardlow against Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, and Jay Lethal in another trios match. This wasn't too bad. Decent match. Again, nothing to really write home about. I did, with FTR and Wardlow taking care of business. Wardlow doing the power bomb, his power bomb thing on Jay Lethal to win the match. Nice little ending with the Sanjay Dutt and uh, the Patnam Singh, that guy coming in, and Samoa Joe coming in and making the save, and then of course they took out Sanjay Dutt, and then Dax's daughter. There's been a thing where they've been going on with uh, Dax's daughter from FTR. She comes out and she gets a 1-2-3 on Sanjay Dutt, which I thought was a nice touch. Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs, former stablemates, now enemies. Rather quick match with Powerhouse Hobbs getting the victor with the dominant spine busher. But yeah, very quick match. Not much really to talk about there. Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee, AEW Tag Champs, going up against Anthony Bowens and Max Caster, the Acclaimed, with Billy Gunn in their corner. Crowd was really getting into the Acclaimed, and I can see why. They were really showing a lot of promise. Definitely are ready to take on that next step, because I think they've been on a lot of the lower shows and they've been getting a lot of victories. But I think now it's time for them to step up and get further into the tag team picture. Definitely gave them a good run for their money. Swerve and Lee come out the victor. Would definitely like to see a rematch here, though. I should note this match was actually the longest match up to this point, only about 22 minutes. A lot of the matches have not overstayed their welcome, which I think was a good thing. Next up, a match I felt the crowd was kind of dead for. At least it didn't seem like they were into it when I was listening to this. You have Tony Storm versus Britt Baker versus Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida. Four-way women's match for the interim women's championship, since Thunder Rosa is injured, the current champion. So we just had the same replay with when CM Punk wins the heavyweight belt. He gets injured and is out. So they get an interim championship, which Jon Moxley wins, dominant champion. We'll get to this. We'll get to that match later, though. Wasn't into this match again. Something about AEW's women's division just doesn't really do a whole lot for me. I kind of like the Joshis. But other than that, I Serena Deeb's good and Thunder Rosa's good, but there's much about their division I don't care for. I've never been much of a Britt Baker fan. I think she just needs to stay at being a dentist. Tony Storm wins this. Good victory for her. I think she was overlooked in WWE, and they just didn't know what to do with her. So good to see what she can do here. Hopefully, when she gets that match against Thunder Rosa, hopefully that'll be a really good, solid match to unify those belts. So I think that's going to be good. Anyway, and I think Jamie Hayter also showed some promise. I do like Hikaru Shida. I don't think, again, this match really didn't do a whole lot for me. Next up, we go to Jungle Boy Jack Ross versus Christian Cage. Now, there's been a big story going on with this. Again, I think this was something that they should have saved for Dynamite. I don't think this was worthy of being on the pay-per-view, because Luchasaurus turns on Jungle Boy. Before the match even starts, he pretty much destroys him. Jungle Boy gets in the ring. He gets speared. He gets the kill switch. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. Pointless. Moving on. Chris Jericho coming out as the Lionheart from the mid-90s, even with the White Zombie theme song. Going up against the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. This was the longest match of the night. It went about a minute or so longer than the tag team championship match. But good solid match. Didn't care for the ending. I could have done without that, but cheap ending. But I think that's the only way they could truly end what I thought was a pretty good match. Otherwise, of course, Jericho gets the victory there. Next, trios match. We have the House of Black with Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. Going up against Sting, Darby Allin, and Miro. Now, I meant to mention this about Jungle Boy. He also was one of the four pillars that AEW is kind of building on. Darby Allin's another one. Darby Allin's really reckless, really crazy, but I think since Sting has kind of taken him under his wing, I think he's kind of controlled him down a little bit, and he's not quite as ridiculous. And I like that. I like that with Darby Allin. I like his style. I like his character. There's a lot of good stuff there. Of course, I like Sting. I've always been a Sting fan. Miro's an interesting. Why they've tagged him up there, I don't know, but it worked out for this match. House of Black, with Malachi Black and Brody King and Buddy Matthews. Again, a lot of stuff going on in this match. Ends with Sting doing the John Cena mist on Malachi Black, allowing Darby Allin to do a particular pinning combination. I think that he calls it the Last Supper. Anyway, so that was that. Again, too much going on. They were trying to get a lot of stuff in about a 12 or 13-minute time frame, and I think they just got almost way too much in there. So brings us to the main event. We have Jon Moxley and CM Punk. This is basically a rematch from a couple weeks ago where they did unify the belts, and it was basically a squash match. Not really sure the point of all of that, but it brought us to this match. We get early blood from Punk. Good, solid back and forth match. I found the ending to be a little unbelievable. I didn't connect with it. Moxley was this just full speed ahead powerhouse, and nothing was going to stop him. He just kept going, and he was just beating people up left and right. And I don't know, something about this ending Punk wins with the GTS, and it was the first time that Moxley was cleanly pinned in AEW, which was interesting. I didn't think about that. But I just didn't I didn't connect with this ending. Something about it just didn't connect. It just didn't seem believable that that's how Punk would beat Moxley. It just something went weird with me with that. So, but otherwise, not a bad match. If I had to give a favorite, I think the Swerve, Keith Lee, and the Acclaim match was good. I was getting into that. I enjoyed that match. The Jericho Danielson match was decent. I like that. Even the trios match with the Dark Order and the Young Bucks and Omega actually wasn't bad. Not great. I did like the story that was telling with it. Of course, the Pac and the Kip Sabian match from the pre-show was good. The trios match with Wardlow and FDR against the Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal I thought was decent. But again, nothing to really write home about. For the most part, well, okay, so Punk wins, and the lights go out. We get this little promo, and we now know who the Joker is. Obviously, they're not going to let this play out for too long. We now know it's MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, one of the fourth of the last pillar that AEW is trying to build their brand on. So with these pillars, I already mentioned Sammy Guevara. Don't really care much for him. Just there's something about him I just don't really like. I don't care his in-ring style. He's okay, but it's just his character doesn't do anything for me. Jungle Boy Jack Ross. I like Jungle Boy Jack. I think he's good. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do. He's got a lot of good promise. I think I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with him. I mentioned Darby Allin. Started off extremely reckless, but I think he's gotten a little bit more refined, and I do like his chaotic style. It's gotten better, streamlined. Friedman, Maxwell, MJF was the last of the four pillars. I don't get him. I'm sorry. I know this is going to be a big heat magnet. I don't get MJF. He is not. I have not watched him wrestle enough to where I feel like, yes, I just watched the match of the night and MJF was that guy. No, I don't find anything special about him. Yeah, he's good on the mic. So was Roddy Piper. But I didn't think Piper was even all that great in the ring. He had his moments, but I didn't think he was, I didn't think he was no Brian Danielson or Castagnoli or Jericho or Moxley or any of those guys. He was fine for what he had, but I didn't think he was. He certainly was no top of the mountain echelon. I didn't even think Dusty Rhodes was even that great. Again, great on the mic, but his in-ring style, there was nothing really fancy about it. So I don't get MJF. I don't get the push with him. Maybe there's something in there that needs to come out that I'll see. I don't quite get the comparisons to him being like a modern day Ric Flair either. Personally, I just think him as I think of more of as a dime store Miz. So I don't see it. But hey, in the comments, prove me wrong. Help me see something that I'm not seeing about MGF. I don't think it's all about the mic work. You got to impress me in the ring. And because I think that's where I like to watch the ring action. I don't care so much for for what you can talk a big game, like I'm talking a big game, but my words mean nothing. It's what that person does in the ring, and if they can back it up. And yeah, I know you got to do the heel moments where you got to pull out the big ring and knock them out, or the brass rings, or use some kind of chicanery to get to win your matches. I don't like those kind of matches either, but I know you got to have it in wrestling. But if you can tell me that MJF truly is the next big thing, okay, then I'll listen to you and I'll watch him and I'll see what I think. Maybe I'm just getting into being an old curmudgeon. I mean, I am wearing a Bruno Sammartino shirt here, so maybe I'm a little more old school than I should be. But anyway, um, what do you think? What did you think about All Out? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Personally, I give it about a C. I just it wasn't that great of a pay-per-view personally. Um, anyway, what did you think of it? Comment, like, share, and subscribe. Do what you got to do with this. Let me know what you think. Until then, I will catch up to y'all soon. We'll talk soon. See ya.